Here we are on beautiful Koh Mak, a tiny little island south of Koh Chang, on the eastern side of the Gulf of Thailand, near the Cambodian border. Other than a lot of rubber plantations and a few tiny resorts scattered around the island, there isn't that much on Koh Mak. We always stay on the best side at either Savannah or Koh Mak Resort, which is on a beautiful beach and looks across to the stunning little Koh Chang, an island with crystal clear waters and beautiful black volcanic rock. We've stayed on Koh Mak more times than I can remember, and over the last couple of years I've been lucky to photograph some of the beautiful birds there. Both down by the sea and inland. Tiny ones, colourful ones. Birds which I really don't see many other places than on Koh Mak, and the huge ones. My favourites though are the Brahminy kites, and close second goes to the collared kingfishers. On the first morning I decided to go not too far afield. I went down on the beach in front of the resort, got some fresh air, listened to the sea, and decided to wander down the beach a little bit and cut in behind the resorts, hoping that I'd see some smaller birds there and maybe even catch a glimpse of something bigger. The first bird I saw was a yellow-vented bulbul, or this is its rarer cousin, the out-of-focus yellow-vented bulbul. Clearly my eyes weren't working too well in the dim light of dawn. I also realised quickly that I'd, quite conveniently, left my brand new super zoom lens that I just bought specially for this occasion for vlogging. I'd left it at home. I was going to have to make do with a wide angle and my daughter's 70-300 for the vlogging. Clearly my gimbal skills were about as good as my memory and my eyesight, and I struggled at first to get to grips with my equipment, not having been out and used it for a few months. When I did manage to stabilise things and get focus, this black-headed bulbul didn't really want to play ball. Beautiful to see, but it kept hidden behind the leaves. Never mind, it was a nice start. And now the sun was coming up, and I was kind of excited about what I could see. I didn't have to wander too far before I saw this wonderful ashy drongo on a branch across a kind of swampy bit, not too far from the resort. They're lovely birds, and although they're not rare, I decided to set up the smaller camera for the vlogging so that I could try to get some shots. What I really wanted was to try to get some flight shots, which shouldn't really be too difficult because, like other drongos, they're quite predictable. They fly off and then really fly back to exactly the same spot. They keep doing that again and again and again. tell if this was a male or a female, partly due, I think, to the fact that they've got this funny look on their face. It looks like the yin and yang symbol. Anyway, I positioned myself as best I could to get some video footage and hopefully get a flight shot or two. Photography, and wildlife photography in particular, is always such a trade-off between aperture, shutter speed and ISO. It was still quite dark, and I was going to have to deal with high ISO in order to get the shutter speeds I wanted to try to capture the flight. But at least the drongo was still there, and it wasn't bothered about me being close by.
No.
After leaving the Ashi Drongo to its fly catching, and after a lovely breakfast, we hung around the hotel, went down on the beach, and then a couple of hours later, we were over on the south side of the island, at Koh Mak Seafood. Koh Mak Seafood is situated on a southern peninsula facing west, just beneath the temple, near Ao Nit Pier. It is, without doubt, the best food on the island. And Kun Egg and his wife have a wonderful restaurant there, a little museum about island life and other bits and bobs. It's just a great place to go and hang out. So we got there early, not just so that we could get a table, but so that I could hopefully see some of the kingfishers which we often see in the mangroves near the restaurant. It was just before midday, and with the tide still being high, the collared kingfishers weren't close by in the mangroves where I wanted to see them, but they were over the other side of the bay on the rocks. It was great to see them and at least know that they were there, so I hoped that when the tide moved out and the water went down, that they might come in closer. So I decided to get up and enjoy a big long lunch. After lunch, which was exceptional as always, three things happened. Firstly, the tide did go down and the waters were much lower. Secondly, the kingfishers came back into the mangroves nearby. And thirdly, the sun came out and it became very bright and very hot. If I'd struggled with low light in the morning for the Ashi Drongo, the opposite was happening here. The really bright light of midday and just after is not the easiest, especially for shooting bright birds, halcyon coloured kingfishers. Nevertheless, I was really intent on getting a flight shot this time. Why are you staring at me? Mummy's staring at me. This is what I do. All I want to do is record a little bit. You know what I mean? Okay, we're back from Koh Mak Seafood. A typically lovely lunch. Prawns and squid and fish and crabs, which we'd only just seen caught and then brought from the other side of the island about half an hour before we ate them. Can't get much fresher than that. But of course, the other good thing about Koh Mak seafood is that it's, I wouldn't say teeming with birds, but there are Brahminy kites, white-bellied seagulls, which saw neither of today. But then there are the Kingfishers as well, and they didn't let us down today, they were there. So hopefully got some lovely shots of them and maybe some video as well. Didn't quite get the money shot of one taking a fish. I think I did, but I'm not 100% sure if it's perfectly sharp. But I think I did get a really nice flight shot, which is good. And I know where they are, and we'll be back. Maybe not tomorrow, but soon after. So here we are, it's the heat of the afternoon. We've been on a little tour around the island, showing Auntie around the island on the amazing motorbike there. I'm laughing at it, it's fantastic. It's better than doing 2 laps on a normal motorbike for 4 people. We're trying to get one of those golf carts, that's more fun. Get some pretty good looks. It's a bit of a pulling machine, to be honest, on the island there. Try going fast, either up or down the hills or even on the flat in that Gary Phillipston or Ross Elliott. It's a bit wobbly. Anyway, does the job. Yes, this is it full speed. This is not a slowed down clip. Oh hello, there's an old man coming along and talking, spoiling it. Alright. Ah. It's hard to take a shot when you're people around, isn't it? Lost my train of thought. Anyway, here we are. I'll be called to the swimming pool any minute, I imagine. And if I'm looking red, it's because I've been out in the sun trying to catch those kingfishers. And they do like the heat more than I do. Anyway, that was Koh Mak seafood. Those were the kingfishers, and so we will what tomorrow brings on Koh Chang. It had been a wonderful first day, with more than I could have ever expected, and we were treated to a fascinating, fantastic sunset at the end of the day. Beautiful. I'm glad we went out there and enjoyed it, because it would be a few more days till we got a sunset like that. I was excited to see what the next day would bring. Rather than take my last of the summer wine, motorbike and sidecar over to the other side of the island, I decided on this day to stay near Koh Mak Resort in Savannah again. And after heading inland a little bit and seeing only a bumblebee and some mimosa, I turned right and headed back down towards the sea. I saw this lovely Pacific reef egret in white foam, they're also in a black mauve, and then headed back towards our resorts, where something caught my eye, something flying erratically and not something which I had seen before, and it just looked out of place. It landed in this big tree along the beach, so I went to investigate, and it was very lucky that I did. I couldn't believe it. At first I wasn't sure what it was. The light was bright, it was backlit. Of course I hadn't brought the tripod this morning, so I had to rest the lens on the camera bag. Try resting a 500mm prime on a camera bag and getting video footage, not easy. I couldn't work out what it was. To me it was a peregrine falcon, but I thought there's no way there can be a peregrine down here, surely. And it wasn't acting like one. Sitting in a tree, playing with the crows, flying off a little bit then coming back. This wasn't really peregrine behaviour, and it wasn't really peregrine habitat. I just couldn't help thinking that it was a peregrine though. And later when I saw the footage and the photographs, I realised to my surprise that I was right. It was a young female peregrine. Absolutely amazing. Something I could never have expected to see. peregrine eventually flew off and left me alone with the minor birds, so I headed back for breakfast. We had a big day ahead of us, but I was looking forward to seeing that peregrine again. Absolutely incredible. Join me in part 2, where we head further afield in search of kites, eagles and other things, and I get a closer look at the Ashy Drongo again.